As the landscape of technology explodes, the digital divide continues to broaden for those baby boomers and seniors who aren't connected. But if that sounds like you, there is hope. In her book, Is This Thing On? A computer handbook for late bloomers, technophobes, and the kicking and screaming, helps those who are digitally challenged. Abby Dodge joins me now. It's quite a title on that book.
I know, it's a long one. Sorry about that.
That's okay,
but the kicking and screaming had to get in there because I don't think there's anybody who hasn't been kicking and screaming at their computer at some point.
Being a little frustrated,
yeah,
sure.
it's a little frustrating.
So, but what are you seeing, though, seniors? Are they adjusting to this new technology?
They're adjusting. I think it's the difference. I say anybody over the age of 40 is a digital immigrant. Anybody under the age of 40 is a digital native. And as an immigrant, you can't try to compare yourself to the digital native. Seniors can do everything that anybody's doing online. They just might not do it quite as fast.
And this book helps with that.
And this book's soup to nuts. It starts at the very beginning, and then it moves all the way into more detailed things like Facebook and Skype and Twitter. But the very beginning assumes you don't know what a computer is, and you might not know why you want it. And it's important to know the benefit before you take the plunge, as opposed to the fear of the technology. We want to know what we're going to get from it first.
Sure. Well, unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard of Facebook before. But it might be a little bit intimidating. I'll admit it. I don't have a Facebook page.
You're the perfect person, then. You need the book.
Me and my grandparents. But anyway, I guess how would you get started?
Well, the very first thing is it's a question. Can you imagine if you had two mailboxes outside your home, one that got mail from friends and family and one that got, you know, catalogs. We want to have two email addresses, actually, when you begin, so that you have an email address that you use when you do social networking or you buy airline tickets or anything like that, so that your possible junk mail or more mail than you want to see goes to that email address, and this email address is your personal one, because when you register with Facebook, you're going to choose an ID, which will probably be your name, and you're going to give them an email address, and you're going to choose a password.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the benefits of all this?
Well, the benefits, it's different for everybody. I mean, Facebook, for me, I organized my 30th high school reunion on Facebook, which
well,
was
you were able
really
to get
fun.
a hold of everybody, right?
Exactly. So I found almost 75 of the 113 kids from Old Lyme on Facebook, and it was great because we got to coordinate it that way. My mom uses Facebook in a different way because she basically just follows people. She watches, she looks at their pictures, she sees what they're doing, but she doesn't put things out there. If you can imagine, if you were carrying around a bulletin board in front of you, and all throughout the day, if you had an idea, oh, I thought about this, or the weather's this way here, or here's a website you want to go to, and you put it on the bulletin board, that's kind of what Facebook is like. All day long, you get to put onto Facebook what crosses your mind. Now, some things are not very interesting for other people, and some things are very interesting.
People still tend to put them up there,
correct?
They
still tend to put them up there, exactly.
I think it's important to mention that you only want to share information you're comfortable with everyone knowing.
Well, that's exactly the problem. Is we hear about all of these privacy issues on Facebook because other people are not being very careful with their privacy. It doesn't mean that you're in jeopardy at all. I have one rule, is if you're not comfortable putting something on the outside of your home, don't put it on Facebook. So if I'm on vacation for 2 weeks, I'm not going to put on the outside of my home that I'm not going to be home for 2 weeks.
That's a great point.
Why would I put it on Facebook? Am I going to put on the outside of my home that I don't like my boss?
Why would I do that either?
But people do. They seem to forget. This is a big community of people, and let's assume that even though you think only your friends on Facebook are seeing it, let's assume everybody sees it.
Okay.
So we're going to be very cautious, and if you're not comfortable putting it on the outside of your home, don't put it on Facebook.
Abby, one of the main things with Facebook is having friends.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's a funny thing. I think because the language is so different on the computer, friends on Facebook is different than friends in our
real life.
three-dimensional. And it's why some people don't really like Facebook, because it seems invasive even with that word alone. So let's assume they're just acquaintances at best on Facebook. They're people whose information you might want to hear about, or people you want to share information with. So it could be somebody I haven't seen in 30 years, and I really do think of them as a friend. It could be somebody that went to one of my book presentations and wants to read information about computers on my site.
You're also a friend in that instance as well.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's talk about pictures, because when you go on Facebook, everyone has pictures. You have a profile picture. Break that down for us.
Right. So you have the ability to put up any photographs you want, and this is when Facebook gets exciting. Imagine if your family's having a family reunion and you can't go, and you have somebody at the reunion has a cell phone and they've taken a picture with their phone and they've posted it in a second on Facebook. You could be looking at Facebook and see Aunt Ruthie doing the Macarena and comment on it at the same time that your brother or your cousin or whoever's in California who can't be there is commenting as well. So you get this sort of instant gratification of sharing the pictures with people online, rather than sending them as an email attachment.
Great. Well, another aspect is the news feed that you see.
Right. So you see a news feed. So everybody who you've chosen to follow on Facebook to be your friends, you get to see what what they're posting in real time. And some of them are fun haikus that somebody's written. Some are actually news items that people have put up. Something's happened in the news, and they are letting people know when the hurricane happened this summer, or the tropical storm. When that happened, I followed on Facebook where the electricity was being turned on in my neighborhood in Connecticut. I watched it go on Facebook, so I knew they were getting closer and closer to my house. So it's things like that that can happen on Facebook.
Great. Well, this is wonderful information, and really people should not be intimidated to
You're
start
in
a page.
charge of what you want to share. Nobody's making you share something you shouldn't be sharing. So you really are the filter for yourself.
And it's a great way to stay connected.
Yes, it is.
All right, Abby, thank you so much. The name of the book again is This Thing On, and the rest of it?
A computer handbook for late bloomers, technophobes, and the kicking and screaming.
All right, thank you so much for being here and sharing all the information.
Thank you.